Good morning, all. I'm Mangesh Mankar. I represent Cod Life, and this session is regarding diet and exercise for the healthy pregnancy. It is organized by Cod Life in association with Thanawala Maternity. Thanawala Maternity uh, is situated in Vashi, and Dr. Uday Thanawala is the gynecologist in Thanawala Maternity. Cord Life is a stem cell bank. Cord Life preserves umbilical cord blood and umbilical cord tissue of your baby, which contains precious stem cells. These stem cells, having property of regeneration, are used for treatment of various life-threatening disorders. These life-threatening disorders, which are not curable by normal medicine, are curable with stem cells. These stem cells are found only at the time of birth of the baby, and they are the most potential and efficient to treat this type of life-threatening disorders. Therefore, do preserve your baby's umbilical cord blood and cord tissue, which is beyond treatment. You are storing your baby's precious stem cells, which is like an biomedical insurance for the future. So, after this, I will hand over the session to Dr. Nigamja. She will take over regarding the topic, and please do be attentive regarding this and take notes of your uh, any important things which you find and follow that. You have any question or answer, Dr. Nigamja is going to give her number to you. You can ask her directly, WhatsApp her questions, or even right now we have a less time, but still you can write your questions in chat box. If possible, we will try to answer them at the end of the session. Thank you so much. So over to you, Dr. Nigamja.
Thank you, Mangesh. Thank you for the introduction. Good morning, everybody. Welcome you all on behalf of Dr. Thanawala Maternity and on behalf of Cod Life. So, myself, Nigamaja, I'm a physiotherapist, childbirth educator, and a lactation counselor. So, it's really nice that all of you all have got up from your Sunday sleep. So, you have decided to know more about your pregnancy and birth by joining us today. So, thank you so much. Um, so आज के सेशन में what we are going to be discussing is mainly about lifestyle changes and how you can manage your pregnancy more comfortably, about exercises which can be safe and effective during your entire pregnancy, and also about the nutritional needs of pregnancy, right? So today's session is going to be about pregnancy care and about nutrition and about exercises. So this session is for from conception for the first 6 months. So this is the first part of our series. So this is what we will be discussing. So if you have any of your friends who are in your third trimester, like seventh, eighth, or ninth month, you can tell them to attend the session which we are going to have this evening, 4 to 6. So there we are going to discuss about preparation for birth and beyond. Like it is about preparation for labor, birth, about breastfeeding and baby care. So all these things are going to help you to prepare for your birth process, for your parenting in a much more effective way. So at Thanawalas in Vashi, we believe that healthy moms will make healthy babies. So mom and babies are healthy, the family is going to be happy. Right? So we want to see more and more happy families. So, so the first thing which we are going to discuss is about how you can care for your pregnancy. What are the things you need to do? What are the things you should definitely not do? Because we all hear a lot of things. नहीं ऐसा करना है, ऐसा नहीं करना है, ये मत करो, वो मत करो. Sometimes हम लोग डर जाते हैं कि क्या करें, right? So तुमने ऐसा किया, इसके लिए ऐसा हो गया. Pregnant ladies are made to feel guilty for just nothing. So हमको थोड़ा clarity रहेगा what are the right things to do, then things are going to be much easier for you, right? And this will ensure that you and baby are healthy and happy throughout the entire pregnancy. So you can just take a note of my number. I will also type it in the chat box. So in case we fall short of time and we are not able to clarify all your questions, then you can contact me personally so that I can clarify your doubts. Okay, so the entire pregnancy is 280 days or 40 weeks or 9 months and 9 days or 3 trimesters. जैसा भी हम बोलेंगे. So why this 9 months? To ensure that the baby can grow completely inside the womb. So if you see in the first trimester, the baby from a single cell, the baby has become a zygote, and then the baby, the cells are proliferating quickly to form a blastocyte, and then udhar say by at the end of 3 months human आकार आता है. So that is the uniqueness of the first trimester. The size of the fetus till the time हम embryo ही बोलते हैं. So at 3 months only we say fetus. So the size of the fetus at the time of 12 weeks or first trimester is just 2 to 3 inches. इतना छोटा आपके palm के अंदर आ सकता है. So this is the time of organogenesis, मतलब organs अपने जगह लेता है, and the brain is getting formed, the heart is getting formed, the limb buds are getting formed, all the organs are taking their respective positions. In the second trimester जो भी organs form हो गया है, they are getting functional. For example, the baby starts moving. So baby moves in the first trimester as well. 8 weeks से baby का movement आता है, but it becomes more pronounced. Mother starts feeling it in the second trimester, usually from 16 weeks to 20 weeks onwards. So movements are there, muscles आ जाते हैं, so they are starting to function. So there are a lot of kicking movements, and the kidneys are functioning. The baby starts making urine. The baby feeds into the amniotic fluid. Baby का sucking, swallowing सब start हो जाता है. So all these things are happening in the second trimester. Third trimester is the time where the baby is bulking up. So third trimester is also the time where the brain is undergoing lot of development. Myelination happens. So the cerebral cortex, जो seat of cognition, is all getting more refined and developed. More nerve connections are getting developed in the third trimester. इसके लिए बोलते हैं ना कि प्रेगनेंसी के टाइम में सब फैमिलीज में रहते हैं अच्छे अच्छे पढ़ो, अच्छे चीजें सुनो, because it can have an influence on the baby's cognitive development. And baby is developing more fat, bones are getting stronger, the lungs are maturing in the 9th month so that the baby will be able to manage the outside environment and take the first breath easily, right? So it is just a miracle. From a single cell, the baby is transforming into a complete human being at 9 months and ready to manage the outside world, right? So this involves a lot of changes. So what changes you expect to see, in you? In the mother, there are a lot of changes. The uterine size is going to get increased. The uterus grows. As the baby grows, the uterus ka size will grow. The placenta, which forms the link between the mother and baby, is also growing as the baby grows. So towards term, placenta एक आधा किलो का बड़ा big plush tissue हो जाता है, and the umbilical cord becomes nearly 1 to 1.5 feet long. So, and the mother's body undergoes lot of changes. There are a lot of fat deposits. The breasts are growing. So, the areola and the nipple size will increase. You get more bulk. There is increased weight gain. Blood volume will increase. A lot of changes are happening. So, some of the discomforts which you have are also because of the changes which are there in preparation to growing your baby inside, right? So your doctor will ensure that everything is fine throughout your pregnancy by in every checkup. So usually once in a month checkup for till 28 weeks, and then later on it is just twice in a month, in the uh, 8th and 9th month, right? But during COVID times, the frequency in which the doctor will call you for checkup may vary, right? So there are a lot of investigations that need to be done in pregnancy to ensure that you and your baby are healthy. So we all know blood group, RH factor, these are all done. Hemoglobin is very very important. आपको मालूम है क्या? Hemoglobin normally women को 12 होना चाहिए. 12 के नीचे रहता है, इसको बोलते हैं anemia. Many a times Indian women may have anemia. 10 रहता है, 9 रहता है, हमको पता भी नहीं चलता है. So pregnancy is the time to figure out, because हीमोग्लोबिन अच्छा रहेगा तभी बेबी को बराबर ब्लड पहुंचता है. Then it helps the baby to grow well. It helps you to carry your baby till term. It helps the baby to have optimal weight. तो हीमोग्लोबिन बराबर रहना बहुत जरूरी है. HIV तो आपको मालूम है, HbS-Ag इज जॉन्डिस. सो ये सब बीमारियां बच्चे को बुरी तरह से अफेक्ट कर सकता है. सो वी वांट टू नो. ब्लड शुगर चेक करना जरूरी है. अगर आपका फैमिली हिस्ट्री है ऑलरेडी, तो एनी ऑफ योर पेरेंट्स और ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स आर डायबिटिक, तो इनिशियली भी शुगर चेक करते हैं. 24 वीक्स में आपको ग्लूकोज पिला के भी फिर चेक करते हैं. एंड 32 वीक्स के बाद जब थर्ड ट्राइमेस्टर में पॉसिबिलिटीज ऑफ वो जेस्टेशनल डायबिटीज वगैरह बढ़ता है, तो तभी एज एंड व्हेन नीडेड द ब्लड शुगर विल बी चेक्ड. थायराइड इज अगेन अनदर इम्पोर्टेंट हार्मोन विच नीड्स टू बी चेक्ड. एंड अगर कम ज्यादा रहता है, यूजुअली द डॉक्टर विल पुट यू ऑन थायरॉक्सिन, एल्ट्रॉक्सिन, ऐसा मेडिसिन देते हैं. सो एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू द रिक्वायरमेंट लेटर ऑन प्रेगनेंसी में वापस एक बार चेक करके द डोसेज विल बी एडजस्टेड. Ensure that you take them regularly because thyroid is essential for baby's brain development. Thalassemia screening is also being done in the recent years because thalassemia is a trait where the hemoglobin can be little distorted. So जिनका thalassemia रहता है तो उनका hemoglobin बढ़ता नहीं है. तो thalassemia minor is a harmless condition. Only thing is अपना hemoglobin कम रहता है. बट थैलेसीमिया मेजर कभी आ सकता है. इफ बोथ द पार्टनर्स आर थैलेसीमिया माइनर, तो बेबी को 25% रिस्क रहता है थैलेसीमिया मेजर आने के लिए. सो दैट रिक्वायर्स ब्लड ट्रांसफ्यूजन एंड ऑल. तो ये टेस्ट जब भी प्रेगनेंसी में करते हैं, आपको मालूम पड़ता है whether you have a thalassemia trait and whether further investigations are required, right? And first trimester में there are some markers which are done. पहले के टाइम में like 15-20 years back ये सब नहीं था. So now there are a lot of advancements that in the first trimester of pregnancy itself we can try and ensure that जो common chromosomal abnormalities हो सकता है या neural tube defects हो सकता है, तो वो हम identify कर सकते हैं in the first trimester. Right? So ये जो डबल मार्कर टेस्ट करते हैं, so this is done by around 10 to 11 weeks along with that nuchal translucency which is a sonography, वो भी करते हैं. और जब भी आपको रिपोर्ट मिलता है ये इस तरह का कुछ आता है like a graph, right? And इधर आपको you can see that the person जिसका किया है the person is here, means वो green zone में रहना चाहिए. green zone में रहेंगे तो you are in the low risk category. Right? This is not a confirmatory test. It is only to अपना risk factor calculate करके देता है. So when we are in the low risk category, then no further testing is done. पर अगर हमारा high risk में आता है या moderate risk में आता है, तो further test वगैरह करने की जरूरत होती है. Right? And pregnancy के टाइम में sonographies होते हैं. See, sometimes we have a दादी और someone at home, they may say आजकल क्या कितना टेस्ट करते हैं, सोनोग्राफी करते हैं, हमारे टाइम में नहीं होता था. बट these are all important. जो फर्स्ट जो सोनोग्राफी होता है 6 weeks का, it is to date your pregnancy, which is very very important. जो 10 weeks में जो न्यूकल ट्रांसल्यूसेंसी का स्कैन करते हैं, so that is for anomaly के लिए, जो इसके लिए करते हैं, for ट्राइसोमीज के लिए करते हैं. सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट ट्राइमेस्टर का स्क्रीनिंग. 20 वीक्स में अनॉमली स्कैन करते हैं टू लुक फॉर एनी ग्रॉस अबनॉर्मलिटीज व्हिच मे बी देयर, सो इट नीड्स टू बी डिटेक्टेड वेल ऑन टाइम. उसके बाद कलर डॉपलर वगैरह बेबी का ब्लड फ्लो चेक करने के लिए व्हिच मे बी रिक्वायर्ड इन द 8th month, राइट? So these things will ensure that your baby is growing well optimally, right? So ये सब पेरेंट्स के लिए अच्छा reassurance. So they don't want to be taking over-the-counter medication, right? So other than the iron, folic acid, calcium जो आपके डॉक्टर प्रिस्क्राइब करते हैं, दूसरा कुछ भी मेडिसिन आप डॉक्टर को बताए बिना खाएंगे नहीं. इवन इफ इट इज होम्योपैथी और कुछ भी आप चूर्ण लेते हैं, कुछ भी लेते हैं, डिटॉक्स के लिए कुछ लेते हैं, ब्रिंग एवरीथिंग टू द नोटिस ऑफ योर डॉक्टर, राइट? ओके. So pregnancy में हमको क्या क्या अवॉइड करना रहता है? So we all know that smoking is not allowed, alcohol is not allowed, So do you know that even your partner smoking, or other family members smoking, or at workplace somebody is smoking, that pattern smoke is also not good for your baby, right? So every pregnant lady deserves to have a smoke-free environment at home and at work. So it is sometimes very important to sensitize the family. The family को भी बताना है, office में भी you have to bring it to the notice, because office में if you have not announced your pregnancy, people may not know that you are pregnant. So smoke-free environment के लिए आपको बताना रहेगा, right? Other things to avoid are, we all know radiation hazards. They are, not permissible for pregnant ladies. So you will not accompany relatives in your CT scan room, X-ray room, nor will you get X-rays done, right? So usually वो बाहर ही लिखा हुआ रहता है कि not allowed for pregnant ladies and all. तो अगर आप फर्स्ट ट्राइमेस्टर में अर्ली प्रेगनेंसी में रहते हैं तो अपना belly नहीं दिखता है, so the technician may not remember to ask you. So keep it in mind that you will not accompany inside the X-ray room, inside CT scan, inside MRI room. वो room के अंदर भी प्रवेश करना आपके लिए allowed नहीं रहता है. ऑल्सो केमिकल एक्सपोजर, आजकल बहुत सारे हम लोग केमिकल्स यूज करते हैं, लॉट ऑफ स्प्रेज एंड मस्किटोज के लिए स्प्रे, कॉकरोच के लिए स्प्रे, रूम फ्रेशनर स्प्रे, all these aerosol sprays remain suspended in the air, and it will get absorbed into the lungs. What is absorbed in the lungs will get absorbed in the placenta, so through the placenta it can reach the baby, right? और कितना quantity safe है we don't know. So जितना possible है, and it is not practically possible to have a absolute chemical free environment. तो हमारे रोज के खाने में भी थोड़ा थोड़ा chemicals तो है ही. तो जो extra chemicals है, if we can avoid them during pregnancy, then it is going to be good. Another least क्या बोलते हैं, ज्यादा उसमें emphasize नहीं दिया रहता है, it is about stress. This stress, chronic stress has a effect on pregnancy. बहुत सारे स्टडीज भी रहता है इसके ऊपर. सो डोंट थिंक दैट स्ट्रेस मीन्स आज आज भाई नहीं आई तो मेरे को गुस्सा आ गया तो उससे कुछ हो जाएगा क्या. नो, नॉट लाइक दैट. So chronic stress, it depends on our personality. There are some people who will get upset for every small things and every day. If you are that kind of a person, then this is the time to look back and then try to change the way you will look at things. What is very important, उसमें focus करो. ठीक है, आज थोड़ा इधर जाले हैं, आज जाड़ू नहीं हुआ, it's okay, right? So you should be willing to let go, so that जो आपके लिए अभी important है उसमें आप focus कर सकते हैं. The idea is we don't want to take too much stress, because उससे अपना body में cortisol levels ज्यादा रहता है. That will again go through the placenta, it can reach the baby. So babies भी फिर ज्यादा चिड़चिड़े रहते हैं. It can come in the way of the learning capabilities also. So we all want our children to be learning everything, doing well in all the areas. So this is like a long term investment. So future के लिए अगर आप कुछ invest करना चाहते हैं, so pregnancy is the time. 9 months is rather a short period of time. ये time में if you do the right things, it will form a good foundation. ठीक है? So what are the things to avoid? Especially first trimester में you should avoid saunas or hot water baths, जो मतलब where you will soak completely, right? Shower लेते हैं तो उससे कोई problem नहीं, bucket में पानी रख के स्नान करते हैं तो कोई problem नहीं, but soaking in warm water tub or hot steam bath वगैरह आप avoid करेंगे. Also you will avoid petting stray animals, stray cats. तो अभी बोलते हैं corona also spreads through stray cats and all, we don't know. But toxoplasmosis is a infection which spreads through stray cats, and it directly affects the baby and it causes lifelong disability, right? So you need to avoid petting stray animals. Same way, if you have a green thumb, make sure that before you handle garden soil, you have to wear gloves. ठीक है, बिकॉज वो रैट फीसिस वगैरह रहता है तो उससे भी लेप्टोस्पायरोसिस स्प्रेड होता है. एंड प्रेगनेंसी इज नॉट द टाइम you will take raw meat or uncooked meat or undercooked meat. कच्चे अंडे हैं या सनसाइड अप है, so which is not fully boiled, half boiled egg वगैरह नहीं लेंगे, बिकॉज इसमें ज्यादा germs रहते हैं, बैक्टीरिया रहते हैं, so it can cause food poisoning and other kind of intestinal upsets. So what is it that we should do? Eat good nutritious food, healthy home cooked food. So वो सबसे अच्छा है. So keep yourself away from Maggi noodles and all these ready-made soups and all. So make yourself, treat yourself with good, healthy, nutritious food. And also you need to keep yourself active, keep yourself fit and follow your doctor's advice, right? And have a positive and comfortable attitude. So this is RCOG guidelines, but what I was talking about, use of excessive chemicals. So what this talks about is mainly about excessive personal care products like gels, moisturizers, cosmetics, fragrances, वगैरह, and प्लास्टिक कैन्स में फूड स्टोर करना, एक डिस्पोजेबल इसमें जो रेस्टोरेंट से वगैरह ऑर्डर करते हैं वो जो प्लास्टिक डब्बा में देते हैं तो वो अवॉइड करना, एंड कुकिंग इन non-stick cookware. So this is the time you can change to raw time. So उसमें जो आयरन कढ़ाई यूज करेंगे, आयरन तवा यूज करेंगे, that will give you a safe cooking utensil है वो, plus you will get some extra iron also, especially थोड़ा खट्टे चीजें उसमें पकाते हैं तो उसमें से iron stores आपको मिल सकता है, ठीक है. So these things we need to avoid, harmful things जो है chemicals वो हम avoid करेंगे, ठीक है. So how do you care for yourself? So I have put it under 4 categories. स्किन केयर है, जेनिटल हाइजीन है, ब्रेस्ट केयर है, टेकिंग केयर ऑफ योर इमोशंस. सो स्किन में तो चेंजेस आते ही हैं, राइट. So it can be like these brownish patches which you see on the face. Some people will feel absolutely upset कि मेरा अच्छा glowing skin था, अभी pregnancy में क्या हाल कर दिया मेरा. So this can be like darkness in the belly also, or on the there can be stretch marks. So all these things are normal, right? Spider nevi is this condition where you will feel that the superficial blood vessels are getting dilated. You feel red veins or green veins which you can see through the skin, right? So these are all normal changes. So don't waste your time and money in beauty care products. So these things will fade away after the baby arrives, right? So there are few things which you can do for your stretch marks. You can moisturize the skin and avoid gaining too much of weight in a short period of time. हर महीने जितना आपको allowed है उतना ही weight gain कीजिए and have a good posture. So this way your belly will not stretch too much more than what is needed. So आपका belly muscles का tone भी अच्छे से maintain रहेगा. So you can make your own moisturizer also. Now you get everything on Amazon. You can buy cocoa butter, you can buy beeswax, and you can melt them all together. You can add vitamin E capsules. You can store them. So and then you can use it as a moisturizer. उससे आपको अच्छा भी लगता है. You can add coconut oil, virgin coconut oil लगा के you can make your own moisturizer. You can make your own foot creams. So you can avoid the use of stabilizers जिसमें बहुत सारे chemicals रहता है, right? So it is all optional. So there are a lot of DIY videos which you see in YouTube. So you can make your own moisturizer, or you can simply use coconut oil, or you can use any good store-bought moisturizer also, right? So parlor treatments में जब भी जाते हैं, ensure that you don't try new things because your skin can react too much, during pregnancy. So you need to be little careful. And right now, I guess you will not be visiting the parlor. So even if you have to, or if you have a parlor person come to you, use your own nail cutters, tweezers, towels. सब अपना अलग ही रखना चाहिए, right? So in case you want to do hair removal, you want to use waxing and all, you can go ahead and do it, but do a small test patch because skin can react very severely during pregnancy, right? And same way, in case you want to do bikini waxing or underarm waxing, you have to be little careful because उधर skin भी sensitive रहता है, कभी फोड़ियां निकल जाती है. Hair coloring you want to avoid in the first trimester, second trimester, and third trimester. Maybe once if you do, there is no harm. Okay, so how do we take care of the breast? We know that breasts are getting ready for feeding, so definitely we want to take good care of them. So daily apply little coconut oil in the areola nipples. Don't use soap on the nipples because it will dry them out and it will make them more vulnerable for cracks, right? And have good supports, good supportive bras or a important need during pregnancy, and avoid the tight straps or strapless ones which may put pressure on the breast tissue. And you need to do a simple pinch test to see whether the nipples are stretchable, right? So for some ladies the nipple may be flat, or it may, in the place of the nipple there may be a pit, but nothing to worry, because as the breast is growing, everything will keep changing. But you need to keep checking on the nipples in the seventh month and the ninth month. So right now, no stretching, no pulling on the nipples to be done. That if there is something to be done, it will be done only after 36 weeks. अभी कुछ भी नहीं करना है, just other than applying little oil. So you need to maintain good genital hygiene, because urinary tract infection and vaginal infections are very common in pregnancy. अगर वो बार-बार आता है, so that can lead us towards preterm labor, and we want to carry the baby till term. So simple measures: you need to wash every time you use the washroom. Wash your vaginal area with water. So medicated washes, unless डॉक्टर ने प्रिस्क्राइब किया है तो आप नहीं यूज करेंगे, ऐसा ही आपको यूज नहीं करना है. दैट एरिया नीड्स टू बी वॉश्ड ओनली विथ प्लेन वाटर, एंड डोंट पुट सोप इन द vaginal area, right? And wear only cotton underpants. And when after passing stools, when you are washing yourself, अगर जेट चलाते हैं आगे से चलाना है, so that if this is the vaginal part, this is the motion area, so it has to get washed like this. पीछे से आगे नहीं आना है. Even when you use your hand, the fingers which has touched the motion passage should not come in the front. So this can cause fecal contamination, and इसके वजह से आपको बार-बार recurrent urinary infection आ सकता है, right? So ये simple things हम follow करने से we can avoid the recurrent urinary infection. And there is something called double boiling, which is very useful, which you can do. Like if you feel your bladder is not getting emptied fully, वापस वापस आप urine pass करते हैं. So urine pass करने के बाद you stand and wait for a few more seconds. If you feel the urge to pass again, you can sit and pass urine. So इससे bladder ज़्यादा completely empty होता है, क्योंकि अगर urine थोड़ा retain रहता है, so that is a time, is a place for breeding bacteria. So these are all ways you can help in preventing recurrent infections, right? So emotional care is very, very important, because pregnancy is a time where we are emotionally very, very vulnerable. छोटे छोटे चीजों में गुस्सा आता है या रोना आता है, तो it is part of the hormonal change. But we need to feel comfortable throughout pregnancy. So make it a point to exercise regularly. You can go for walks. You should do your exercises regularly. एक्सरसाइज जब भी रेगुलरली करते हैं तो हमारे बॉडी में एंडोर्फिन, सेरोटोनिन सब रिलीज होता है. तो दीज ऑल मेक अस फील गुड, apart from making us feel more alert and more positive. So अपने नेगेटिव इमोशंस आने से अपने को बचाएगा. And this is a good time where you can take up a hobby, something जो आपको करने को बहुत दिन से मन हो, जैसा कि आपको गाना गाने में शौक है, और पेंटिंग करने में शौक है, और anything, or you want to learn a new course in the, you can sign up for some online course. तो जो आपको सीखना है, give some time for yourself, a me time which you can keep, so that you can pursue something which you like. All these things will help us to feel more positive, more happy, and more fulfilled, right? So this is a simple thing which everyone can do, and which will make us feel comfortable throughout the pregnancy without thinking that नहीं मेरे हस्बैंड ने ऐसा बोला, मदर इन लॉ ने ऐसा बोला, इसके लिए मेरे को गुस्सा आ रहा है. तो सब लोग कुछ ना कुछ तो बोलेंगे. तो हाउ वी नीड टू कीप आवरसेल्फ हैप्पी, वो हमको देखना है, राइट? So some of the common discomforts, back pain हो सकता है. So ensure that you have a good posture like this. Avoid being on your toes, right? बहुत टाइम प्रेग्नेंट लेडीज को बोला जाता है कुछ भी लेना है तो ऐसा नीचे बैठ के फिर खड़े हो जाओ, ये आप अवॉइड करेंगे. और बैठ के अगर आपको उठना है तो यू कैन कम ऑन योर नीज एंड देन यू कैन गेट अप, right? And this is a good exercise, the cat and camel exercise, which is very good for relieving back pain, right? And sleeping positions, सही रहना भी बहुत जरूरी है. So after your first trimester, you will avoid sleeping on your back for the entire night, right? बट ऐसा नहीं है कि सीधा नहीं सो सकते हैं, सीधा सो सकते हैं. जो भी पोजीशन आपको अच्छा लगता है वो पोजीशन में सो सकते हैं. What positions pregnant ladies are usually comfortable? You can keep a small pillow for the belly. पैर मोड़ के रख सकते हैं एंड कीप द पिलो सपोर्टिंग द एंटायर नेक, कि नेक में या शोल्डर अकड़ न जाएगा. बहुत टाइम प्रेग्नेंट लेडीज को नेक में पेन आता है, चक्कर आ सकता है बिकॉज इसके वजह से. दीज थिंग्स वी नीड टू अवॉइड बाय हैविंग गुड स्लीपिंग पोजीशन. एंड थर्ड ट्राइमेस्टर में इट इज वेरी कंफर्टेबल व्हेन यू कीप अ लोड अंडर द नी, इट गिव्स यू मोर कंफर्ट. And whenever you have to get up, make it a point to turn to your side and then get up. So वो उससे आपको comfort मिलेगा. Sitting position, so different options for sitting. Low sofas are not for you. So avoid sitting on low sofa for a long period of time. So instead firm sofa में बैठ सकते हैं, पीछे cushion रख सकते हैं. You can use a chair, उसमें उल्टा बैठ सकते हैं, so उससे बैक थोड़ा स्ट्रेट रहता है, अपर बॉडी को सपोर्ट मिलता है. And while at work, you can have a small cushion or a wedge on which you can sit, जिससे बैक स्ट्रेट होता है और बेली के लिए जगह मिलता है. फ्लोर में बैठ के जब भी आपको एक्सरसाइज करना है, ऐसा ही आप फ्लोर में बैठते हैं, पार्ट के ऊपर बैठ सकते हैं और यू कैन सिट ऑन अ कुशन. एंड डाइनिंग चेयर्स आर रियली गुड फॉर सीटिंग, राइट? सो बिकॉज वो थोड़ा हाइट ज्यादा रहता है, ज्यादा फर्म रहता है, सो यू आर लेस लाइकली टू गेट बैक पेन आफ्टर सिटिंग ऑन अ डाइनिंग चेयर. Pelvic joints, these are the joints in the pelvis. Hormones of pregnancy can make it very slack. जब ये slack रहता है तो वो हिल जाता है, तो हिल के पेन आ सकता है. Pelvic joints, there are three joints, one, two are behind, which are on the buttock area, and one is at the pubis. तो जब ये ढीलापन आता है, वो कहीं भी पेन आता है, sometimes it keeps shifting. कभी लेफ्ट में आता है, कभी राइट में आता है, कभी बीच में आता है, ग्रॉइन में आता है. So these are all pelvic joint pain, and this is some kind of pain which you may not have experienced at any point of time in your life. So this is very unique in pregnancy because इतना ढीला होता है तो उसके वजह से पेन आता है. So you need to how you can manage this is by strengthening your core muscle. Kegel exercise करना है, core exercises करना है, तो उससे स्टेबिलिटी बढ़ती है. क्योंकि अभी ये तो हार्मोन की वजह से है, तो यू कैन नॉट स्टॉप द जॉइंट फ्रॉम गेटिंग स्लैक, बट you can avoid the pain which comes with laxity by engaging your core muscles more. So you have to exercise regularly. And there are certain do's and don'ts. पैर ज्यादा ओपन अप नहीं करेंगे, टर्निंग के टाइम में दोनों पैर साथ में रख के टर्न कर सकते हैं. एंड एक पैर में खड़े रह के जैसा पैजामा पहनना रहता है वो तो बैठ के कर सकते हैं. लो सोफास में बैठना आप अवॉइड करेंगे. दीज आर ऑल. एंड डेफिनेटली टू व्हीलर्स नहीं चलाएंगे, पीछे बैठ के भी नहीं जाएंगे. Right? What you need to do are, you can, sit on firm chairs और टर्न करने के टाइम में थोड़ा बैक को आर्च कर सकते हैं. ऐसा फिर टर्न करने में इजी रहता है. और चलने में कभी कभी किसी को दर्द होता है तो छोटा स्टेप्स लेके चल सकते हैं, राइट? अगर पेन ज्यादा रहता है या जरा भी पेन रहता है, यू नीड टू रेस्पेक्ट द pelvic joint pain. You can get in touch with your physiotherapist for relief from this kind of pelvic joint pain. So I also do a lot of online classes for pregnant ladies. So if you have any discomfort or you want to take up any exercises, I am there to help you. So good footwear is a must, right? So but you need to choose the right kind of footwear. So what are the things which are good during pregnancy? ऐसा जो broad रहता है, जिसमें स्ट्रैप बड़े बड़े रहते हैं, तो प्रेशर नहीं आएगा और फुट को अच्छे से कंफर्ट देगा. एंड फीट आर गोइंग टू ग्रो. थोड़ा फैट डिपॉजिट भी रहता है और थोड़ा सूजन भी रहता है, सो इट शुड अकोमोडेट दैट. सो फ्लोटर्स है, कंफर्टेबल वॉकिंग शूज है और ब्रॉड बेस्ड थिक फुटवेयर है. दीज आर ऑल गुड. व्हाट वी नीड टू अवॉइड, और फ्लिप फ्लॉप टाइप्स अवॉइड करना चाहिए जिसमें इलास्टिक स्ट्रैप्स हो और जिसमें वुडन हील हो. वो कोल्हापुरी टाइप्स में एकदम पतला हो, और it is like a motha heel. So those kind of footwear we need to avoid. Also you avoid very closed shoes because सूजन आता है तो फिर उसके ऊपर आपको सूजन ज्यादा फील होगा, right? Can I drive? Yes, you can. You can drive four-wheelers during your pregnancy, but do wear your safety belt, right? Two-wheelers आपको पक्का नहीं चलाना है, पीछे बैठ के भी नहीं जाना है. So, Cod Life is giving you a discount coupon, so do make use of this. And if there are any doubts or questions, you can just put it in the chat box, then I will answer them. Talk about exercises. So, population, we are not very exercise freaks, the Indian families में, and especially when it comes to pregnancy, we will say ठीक है, थोड़ा इजी रखते हैं, ज्यादा कुछ नहीं करते हैं. रेस्ट मोर इज व्हाट you will get to hear most of the time, or you will get advice to do lot of household work. झाड़ू करो, पोछा करो. So that is what is good. So तो exercise करो, वो थोड़ा कम सुनाई देता है. So let us understand how much you can exercise, what is safe, what you can do. Okay, so exercises से बहुत सारे बेनिफिट्स आते हैं. सो इवन इफ यू हैव बीन अ सेडेंटरी पर्सन, मैंने पहले कभी एक्सरसाइज किया ही नहीं है, तो अभी प्रेगनेंसी में चालू करना है क्या, कि डिलीवरी होने के बाद एक साथ वेट लॉस सब कर लेते हैं, इट्स ओके, ऐसा अगर आप सोच रहे हैं तो दिस इज फॉर यू. बिकॉज एक्सरसाइज जब प्रेगनेंसी में करते हैं, अपना जो डेली चीजें हैं, जैसा भूख लगना, खाना हजम होना, कॉन्स्टिपेशन नहीं रहना, तो ये सब अच्छा रहता है, राइट. एंड यू विल हैव बेटर मूड, नींद अच्छे से आता है, रात का नींद अच्छे से आता है, दिन में यू विल फील नाइस एंड एक्टिव, बहुत नींद सा हमेशा रहता है, वो सब कम हो जाता है. एंड जो आपका मसल्स का स्ट्रेंथ बढ़ता है, कोर स्ट्रेंथ बढ़ता है, तो फिर अपना एक्स एंड पेन्स कम हो जाते हैं. वी ऑलरेडी डिस्कस हाउ पेल्विक जॉइंट पेन आ सकता है, बैक पेन आ सकता है. सो दीज थिंग्स, joint laxity you cannot avoid because it is part and parcel of pregnancy, but pain is not compulsory. So अगर अपना strength अच्छा है, endurance अच्छा है, तो stability अच्छा है, तो pain नहीं आता है. laxity होते हुए भी pain नहीं आएगा. For that exercises are very important, right? and अगर आपको gestational diabetes है, GDM जो बोलते हैं, तो उसके लिए बहुत 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 important है to do your exercises. So there are some studies which are also saying that even if you are not able to do walking नहीं होता है, lower body exercise नहीं होता है, बहुत सारे arm exercises करेंगे तो अपना sugar level काफी कम होता है. So these are all good things. So you can divide your exercises and you can do them, right? So pregnancy में क्या क्या exercise जरूरी है? We all know that breathing exercise करना चाहिए, right? So breathing exercise, yes, they are important. You should do something for the belly muscles, जो हम pelvic tilts के थ्रू करते हैं. तो प्रेगनेंसी में हम क्रंचेस बहुत नहीं कर सकते. You cannot do 100 crunches, right? So you will do abdominal muscles का toning in the form of pelvic tilts, right? Kegel exercises are another important exercise. वो भी हमको बहुत जरूरी है करने के लिए. So अगर आपने जो भी वेबसाइट देखते हैं उसमें कीगल एक्सरसाइज बोलते हैं, बट इफ यू लुक एट योगा, उसमें ज्यादा कीगल एक्सरसाइज को बोलते हैं अश्विनी मुद्रा और मूल बंद. So it is all the same. So several thousands of years back, our forefathers have understood the need for pelvic floor exercise. स्ट्रेचिंग करना है, थोड़ा स्ट्रेंथ डेवलप करना इम्पोर्टेंट है. स्ट्रेंथ इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड ऑफ कोर्स कार्डियोवास्कुलर एंड्योरेंस. कार्डियोवास्कुलर एंड्योरेंस यू कैन अचीव बाय डूइंग योर वॉकिंग रेगुलरली. रेगुलरली वॉक करते हैं अपना एंड्योरेंस अच्छे आ जाता है. ओके, so three things which I always consider very important for pregnancy exercise. The exercises have to be simple. They have to be safe. That is first. बहुत important है safety. तो जो भी हम एक्सरसाइज करेंगे, इट शुड बी सेफ फॉर द मदर, सेफ फॉर द बेबी, एंड इट शुड बी सफिशिएंट टू कीप फिट. प्रेगनेंसी इज द टाइम वेयर हमको वेट लॉस की नहीं पड़ी है. सो वी आर कंसर्न अबाउट स्टेइंग फिट. वी वांट टू बी फिट फॉर बर्थ, वी वांट टू बी फिट फॉर द न्यू रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एज अ मदर. एट द सेम टाइम यू विल गेट बैक टू वर्क, यू विल डू ऑल अदर थिंग्स व्हिच यू वांट टू डू. तो वो करने के लिए हमारा स्ट्रेंथ है, एंड्योरेंस है, यू हैव टू स्टेप इट अप वन लेवल अप, तब भी हम इजीली कर सकते हैं, राइट. तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बढ़ता है, उस हिसाब से अपने बॉडी और माइंड को प्रिपेयर करना रहता है. फॉर दैट एक्सरसाइजेस विल हेल्प यू अ लॉट. ओके, वॉकिंग वी सेड दैट इट इज वेरी गुड टू डू. तो कितना करेंगे, कैसा करेंगे? अगर आपको आदत नहीं है रोज वॉकिंग करने की, तो प्रेगनेंसी में रोज वॉकिंग करना चालू कीजिए. सुबह में एक बार कर सकते हैं, शाम को एक बार कर सकते हैं. अगर आदत नहीं है, एक ही टाइम में 20 मिनट से ज्यादा मत कीजिए. डू इट 2 टाइम्स इन अ डे. एटलीस्ट वंस यू डू इट इन द नाइट आफ्टर डिनर. वो थोड़ा स्लो चलेंगे. Remember to take your husband with you so that you can talk. So this helps in reducing emotional stress. Okay, so 20 minutes of walking से चालू कर सकते हैं. अगर आपको ऑलरेडी अच्छे से आदत है तो यू कैन गो फॉर अ गुड 40 मिनट्स ऑफ वॉक. कौन सा स्पीड में चलना है? स्पीड विच इज कंफर्टेबल टू यू. राइट, जो स्पीड आपको कंफर्टेबल है वो स्पीड में आप चल सकते हैं. बहुत स्लो ही चलना है, बहुत फास्ट चलना है, नथिंग लाइक दैट. बट डोंट रन. प्रेगनेंसी में रनिंग नहीं करेंगे, वॉकिंग कर सकते हैं. यू कैन वेयर कंफर्टेबल शूज और फ्लोटर्स, उसमें आप चल सकते हैं. वेयर कंफर्टेबल कॉटन क्लोथ विच विल अलाउ यू टू ब्रीथ. स्किन ब्रीथ होना चाहिए ना, स्वेटिंग आता है तो इवेपोरेट होने के लिए कॉटन क्लोथिंग अच्छा है. थोड़ा लूज क्लोथ पहनेंगे. हाथ में एक छोटा बॉटल पानी लेके जा सकते हैं, क्योंकि डिहाइड्रेशन होता है तो पानी पीना है. राइट, तो चीप है, इजिली अवेलेबल, एवरी वन ऑफ अस कैन डू इट. तो ब्रीदिंग एक्सरसाइज कर सकते हैं. प्राणायाम आर वेरी गुड. ओम चैंट करेंगे तो अपने आप में अंदर शांति होती है. तो यू फील मोर रिलैक्स, मोर कंफर्टेबल, एंड ब्रेथ एंड्योरेंस अच्छे से डेवलप होता है. ये सब हम कर सकते हैं. कीगल एक्सरसाइज कैसा करना है? और कीगल एक्सरसाइज को व्हाट इज द, वेयर इज द मसल? सो द pelvic floor muscle is here, down below. It is supporting the vaginal urine passage and the motion passage. The नीचे का जो pink area, this is more like a hammock. hammock के जैसा रहता है, and it supports the pelvic organ. Right? So प्रेगनेंसी के टाइम में जैसा जैसा यूट्रस का वजन बढ़ता है, these muscles are going to get little more relaxed, थोड़ा वीक हो जाता है. And the first sign of weakness, is what? When we cough, we laugh. वो टाइम में थोड़ा सा अगर यूरिन वीक होता है, that is the first sign which tells us that the muscles are getting weak. राइट, सो ये मसल्स को हमको स्ट्रॉन्ग करना है, बिकॉज ड्यूरिंग वजाइनल बर्थ ये मसल स्ट्रेच होता है, एंड आफ्टर डिलीवरी वी हैव टू टर्न अप दिस मसल अगेन. राइट, तो ये मसल को बहुत इंपॉर्टेंस देना है बाय डूइंग योर कीगल एक्सरसाइजेस रेगुलरली. राइट, सो कीगल एक्सरसाइज में करना क्या है? यू हैव टू स्क्वीज योर वजाइनल मसल्स, रिलैक्स, स्क्वीज योर मोशन पैसेज. So this is the exercise which needs to be done, right? But ये करना बहुत ही आसान है. Only thing you need to learn how to do it isolated. सिर्फ vaginal muscles को squeeze करेंगे. You will not tighten the belly. You should not hold your breath. You should not squeeze your bums. So ये पहचानने के लिए you can, when you are passing urine, you can see whether you can stop the flow of urine. तो जब भी आप stop होते हैं, your Kegel muscles, pelvic floor muscles are working to stop the flow. तो आपको समझ में आएगा which muscles you need to work. But please don't do it in the washroom. हाँ, तो वो सिर्फ आपको पहचानने के लिए है. एक्सरसाइज आप दूसरा कोई भी पोजीशन में कर सकते हैं. बैठ के कर सकते हैं, खड़े होके कर सकते हैं, क्रॉल पोजीशन में कर सकते हैं, लेट के भी कर सकते हैं. एनी पोजीशन जो आप, जिसमें आप फील कर सकते हैं, हाँ, आई कैन फील माई vaginal muscles tightening. Now I have relaxed it. Now I can squeeze my motion passage. Now I have relaxed it. जिसमें आपको बराबर फील होता है वो पोजीशन चूज करें. ठीक है, तो समटाइम्स एक पोजीशन में अच्छे से समझ में आता है, दूसरा पोजीशन में नहीं समझ में आता है. तो जिसमें भी आपको इजी लग रहा है वो पोजीशन में आप कर सकते हैं. इन अ डे इफ यू डू जस्ट से 5 to 10 अटैच स्ट्रेच करेंगे, दिन में 2-3 बार करेंगे तो वो काफी रहता है. राइट, और जब भी आप खांसी करते हैं, चीखते हैं, वो टाइम में यूज करो. राइट, सो टू यूज द मसल एट द राइट टाइम इज इम्पोर्टेंट. जब भी आप झुकते हैं, उठते हैं, जब भी चलते हैं, वो टाइम में जेंटली मसल को यूज करना है. मतलब 10 to 20% मसल को टाइट रखना है. एकदम पूरा टाइट नहीं करेंगे, जस्ट 10 to 20% टाइट करेंगे. ठीक है, So these are all the ways to work your pelvic floor muscles. Belly muscles को work करने को भूलना मत. I have seen several ladies who feel that नहीं पेट को अंदर खींचना नहीं, बेबी है तो कुछ हो जाएगा, ऐसा डरते हैं. So actually the abdominal muscles are undergoing stretch, and stretch ज्यादा गलत होता है in the third trimester. फर्स्ट ट्राइमेस्टर में तो बेली दिखता नहीं है. The stretching starts from the fourth month. But usually if you observe stretch marks कभी से आता है? Only from the seventh month. तो जो स्किन का स्ट्रेचिंग and the muscle का स्ट्रेचिंग ज्यादा होता है from the third trimester. So it is very very important that we keep doing the abdominal exercise till the ninth month. राइट. तो जब भी ज्यादा स्ट्रेच होता है वो टाइम में मसल्स को अच्छा टोन में करके रखना चाहिए. सो इट इज लाइक द abdominal muscles, if you compare, it is more like a rubber band. The elasticity, the skin and the muscles, they are more elastic. So if you have to keep working them and keep them in good tone. अगर उसको कुछ नहीं किया, बहुत स्ट्रेच होके रह के इट बिकम्स लाइक ओवर स्ट्रेच्ड रबर बैंड, तो फिर वो टेंशन नहीं आता है. हमको रबर बैंड में हम लोग देखते हैं ना, वो टेंशन खत्म हो जाता है. इट डज नॉट हैव दैट इलास्टिसिटी. सो अगर ज्यादा ओवर स्ट्रेच हो गया, देन इट टेक्स वेरी लॉन्ग एंड इट इज लॉट ऑफ हार्ड वर्क टू गेट द टमी बैक इन टोन. राइट. तो किसी किसी को 2-3 महीने में आता है, सो दे आर द लकी गाइज. But for most of us, it may take 1 year, 2 years to get the same tone and strength in the belly muscles. और belly muscles अगर हमको अच्छा से recover होके अच्छा चाहिए after delivery, you cannot wait, after the birth तभी start करने के लिए. Pregnancy से उसको अच्छे से सपोर्ट करके रखेंगे तो इट विल बी यूजफुल. सो हाउ यू विल डू दैट? तो जैसे हम लोग ने डिस्कस किया, like how for stretch marks I said you need to keep the belly gently inside. The same way अगर हमको मसल्स ओवर स्ट्रेच नहीं होना चाहिए तो पेट को हल्के से अंदर रखेंगे. जैसा कि जब भी हम वेस्टर्न क्लोथ पहनते हैं या फोटो के लिए पोस्ट देते हैं तो कैसा पेट ज्यादा नहीं दिखना है नॉर्मली प्रेगनेंसी में नहीं, तो कैसा हल्के से अंदर रखते हैं सो दैट योर बेली वोंट शो. द सेम वे पेट को हल्के से अंदर रखना चाहिए. So उससे the deep belly muscles, the transversus abdominis, which is the core muscle, will work. कोर वीक हो जाता है तो पेट एकदम बड़ा होके फ्लैबी लगता है, तो वो टोन मेंटेन रहेगा. एंड पेल्विक टिल्टिंग एक्सरसाइजेस करेंगे प्रेगनेंसी में थ्रू आउट ऑल थ्रू द 9 months, which is a very gentle way to tone up the belly muscle, right? And there is no need to wear any pregnancy belts and all. So it is reserved for people who have a very slack belly या जिनका herniation वगैरह होता है तो उनको पहनना काफी है. बाकी लोगों को अपना एक्सरसाइजेस करेंगे, कोर एक्टिवेट करते रहेंगे तो अपना बेली मसल्स का टोन बहुत अच्छा रहेगा. So exercises is the key, right? So pelvic tilts, how you can do cat camel जो करते हैं वो भी pelvic tilt है. You can do it in the standing position. You can try to stand near the wall and try to press your back to the wall. तो अपना belly थोड़ा lift होता है. So that is how you can do the pelvic tilt exercises. You should also do some simple stretches. अपना body में weight बढ़ता है, so you will feel that you will increase at least 10 to 12 kilos in pregnancy. तो थोड़ा फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी मेंटेन करने से एक्स एंड पेन से हम बचा सकते हैं. कि कॉमनली हम ओवरहेड में ज्यादा सामान वगैरह उठाना नहीं करते हैं प्रेगनेंसी में, तो ये शोल्डर में थोड़ा रिस्ट्रिक्शन हो जाता है, तो ये स्ट्रेच कर सकते हैं. समटाइम्स रिब्स में पेन आता है, तो ज्यादा बैठते हैं तो रिब्स में पेन आता है. यू नीड टू स्ट्रेच द आर्म्स ओवरहेड, तो उससे रिब्स का पेन खत्म होता है. पैर में क्रैम्प्स आते हैं तो ये काफ के लिए ये स्ट्रेच जो है तो ये कर सकते हैं. स्पेशली बिफोर यू गो टू बेड, इफ यू डू द स्ट्रेच तो रात को क्रैम्प्स आना अपने लिए नहीं रहेगा. एंड टेक सम टाइम टू बिल्ड स्ट्रेंथ इन योर आर्म्स. आफ्टर द बेबी अराइव्स हमको बहुत बेबी को होल्ड करना है फीडिंग के लिए, तो कभी शोल्डर में पेन, हाथ में पेन नहीं आना चाहिए. यू शुड बी एबल टू एंजॉय योर ब्रेस्ट फीडिंग जर्नी. सो हाथ का ताकत रहना अच्छा है. तो 1 किलो 1.5 किलो तक का वेट्स हम कर सकते हैं सेफली इन प्रेगनेंसी, राइट? So you can do some small weights and try and pick up more strength in the arms. लेग्स के लिए भी हमको एक्सरसाइज करना बहुत जरूरी है. वॉकिंग इज ऑल्सो गुड एक्सरसाइज. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट यू कैन डू सिंपल लेग लिफ्ट है, ये नी ओपनिंग करना है, क्रॉल पोजिशन में एक्सरसाइजेस कर सकते हैं. ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर सेफ एंड वेरी वेरी इफेक्टिव, राइट? If you don't have time, so at workplace also you should do little bit of exercise. So ये exercises से you will feel comfortable working. So many of us are working on the PC. So sometimes हाथ में सूजन आ जाता है. You may feel that numbness आता है, carpal tunnel syndrome आ सकता है. Some people wake up with I don't feel the thumb at all, I don't feel the hand at all because the nerve can get trapped. So regularly exercising between your work. Maybe you can have a squeeze ball, you can have some exercise bands, and then you can do some exercise so that आपका हाथ सुन नहीं हो जाएगा, सूजन होके कभी चेक में साइन करने को नहीं होता, ऐसा सब प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं आएगा. So if you have aches or pains, तभी भी आपको एक्सरसाइज करना है. क्रॉल पोजिशन एक्सरसाइजेस और गुड. रिब केज में पेन हुआ तो ऐसा स्ट्रेचेस वगैरह कर सकते हैं. लेग्स में क्रैम्प्स आता है कि वेरिकोस वेन्स आते हैं. फॉर ऑल दीज थिंग्स एक्सरसाइजेस विल गिव यू वेरी गुड सोल्यूशन. नेक में पेन आता है, एक्सरसाइज करना चाहिए, राइट? पैर में सूजन आता है तो भी एक्सरसाइज भी करना है. टाइट शूज नहीं पहनना है और पैर को ऊपर करके रखना है. So when we are looking at exercise, so how you can make exercises work for you, वो हमको थोड़ा clarity होना चाहिए. The exercises, it is good to do all the exercise like breathing करना है, pelvic floor exercise करना है, pelvic tilting exercise करना है, stretches करना है, हाथ के लिए strengthening करना है, legs का strengthening करना है, endurance के लिए walking करना है. तो आप सोचेंगे अरे मैं इतना सब कैसा करूं, वो दिन में 1 घंटा 1.5 घंटा हो जाएगा, उतना टाइम तो मेरे पास नहीं मिलेगा, right? So it is not compulsory that you have to do everything together. तो ये WHO का स्टैंडिंग है कि you can accumulate activities of the day. मतलब अगर आप सुबह में 20 मिनट्स वॉक करते हैं, रात को 20 मिनट्स वॉक करते हैं, आपका 40 मिनट्स का वॉकिंग का हो गया. एक्सरसाइजेस को भी आप डिवाइड कर सकते हैं कि सुबह मैंने थोड़ा किया, लंच के बाद थोड़ा किया, मैं ऑफिस में बैठे बैठे उधर थोड़ा किया. Like that you can spread your exercises and you can accumulate. You should get 60 minutes daily. 1 hour for exercise is very essential for all healthy women throughout pregnancy. ऐसा नहीं है कि 7वें महीने के बाद एक्सरसाइज बंद करना है. You need to exercise throughout your 9 months, but with guidance. It is better to take guidance, right? So that you will do the right exercise. वीडियो देख के एक्सरसाइज करना या यूट्यूब चैनल देख के एक्सरसाइज करना, तो वो अवॉइड कर सकते हैं. लर्न प्रॉपरली एंड डू योर एक्सरसाइजेस. जो भी आप करते हैं थ्रू आउट द प्रेगनेंसी करना है, रेगुलरली करना है फॉर यू टू सी ऑल द हेल्थ बेनिफिट्स, राइट? So the exercises which we need to avoid, सीधा लेट के ज्यादा देर एक्सरसाइज नहीं करना है. बहुत डीप बेंडिंग एक्सरसाइज, लंजेस वगैरह है, या स्क्वाटिंग वगैरह नहीं करते हैं. तो बहुत टाइम प्रेग्नेंट लेडीज आर टोल्ड टू डू लॉट ऑफ स्क्वाटिंग. so you will not do lot of squatting and standing. तो इससे अपना pelvic floor muscles weaken हो जाता है, अपना joint का laxity बढ़ जाता है. It can give us more pain, right? Sometimes वो फिर pregnancy के बाद भी खत्म नहीं होता है. So we need to avoid those things. Pregnancy में जल्दी से हमारा body hurt हो जाएगा. And high impact movements, jumping है या those kind of aerobic movements we will not do. And you have to understand that pregnancy में थोड़ा भी ज्यादा होता है, तो बहुत ज्यादा मत करो. If you have been exercising earlier, तो आपको आइडिया रहेगा कि हाँ मैं तो बहुत इंटेंस एक्सरसाइज कर सकती हूँ, बट प्रेगनेंसी में इट कैन बिकम मोर. So don't do very strenuous exercise. Moderate intensity, mild to moderate काफी है throughout your pregnancy. And अपना body का weight भी बढ़ता है ना, so that also works like a resistance. Right? So same exercise आप last तक कर पाते हैं, तो that is also absolutely good. Right? The most important thing is to have regularity in what you are doing so that you can derive all the health benefits. So with this, I finish the session. Now Swati will be taking over.
To all the dear viewers today, uh, I'm Swati Thoda. I will be basically discussing about the food area when it comes to pregnancy and beyond pregnancy as well. And I'm also a lactation educator, so I'll be able to help you around how to manage the breastfeeding part. So that session, of course, we definitely take in the evening time. That is for the people who will be in the seventh month and onwards. So, looking forward to all of you joining that session as well when you come up to that stage, right? So, when you enter your seventh month, we'll be very happy to take you over from there. So, for today's session, what I'm trying to cover up here is going to be all about food, dietetics, nutrition, anything, any particular questions that you may have around how and what to eat, how much to eat, when to eat, etc. Right? And you can definitely post your questions and I'll be able to take them towards the end of the session. So here we go. So generally, when you look at this, you will be able to know that pregnancy is specifically a long, long journey in a lady's life, right? It's close to about 40 weeks that a lady stays pregnant, and these days are divided into three trimesters, all being different from each other, right? So the first 14 weeks basically are those weeks which are, you're just trying to know about, okay, you're pregnant, you enjoying that stage where you realize that now you're pregnant and you want to do too much around this time. But this stage also comes with some amount of, there are people who have some amount of nausea, some little vomiting. There are some who have just not understood that they are pregnant and everything is going fine with them. So those are the very lucky ones. There are a few who get this hormone related nausea, vomiting as well. So that's where we need to understand what we need to do there so that you don't get into a dehydrative phase or you can't eat well, all of these things. Right? When we go to the trimester 2, that's the time usually all this early morning or early stages or early difficulties in pregnancies are all settling down or have almost settled down. And here is the time when we look forward to doing a lot during this 3 months because you don't feel that you're pregnant, right? At this time, what happens is your body is all still not grown too much in terms of its weight. The structure is still about to change. You're not able to see the pregnancy as yet. You're only feeling the pregnancy. You're feeling very happy about it. And there's not much worry that is happening at this time. So here, you're able to live your pregnancy term, this trimester, to the beautifulest way that you can. So here is the time you're eating well, you're enjoying, you're planning holidays, you want to go around, you want to pack things, put in place before you enter your third trimester. So this is a very happening trimester during pregnancy. And here is where, since there's more activity, you need to also focus on your nutrition because here is when you start gaining major weight, right? And it's important also to gain weight during pregnancy. We'll come to that when I go ahead in slides. And trimester 3, of course, is that time that you're almost waiting for the baby to arrive and you're seeing all those physical changes that have happened in your body. There's changes in the area of the breast, there's the baby which is already showing now. So here you are, also still pushing further more nutrients so that now you allow the baby to grow well in this last trimester. So the first trimester is just like waiting and just like, settling with the thought that you're pregnant. Second is the time when the mother is adjusting a lot of things in her body and parallelly also enjoying the trimester. The third trimester is all about how the baby is really growing well to, be born. So that's how this goes. So the focus basically when it comes to nutrition remains that we are trying to focus majorly on the micronutrient supplementation and the micronutrient intake in the first trimester. Of course, we are not stopping eating other foods, but nonetheless, micronutrients. Why? Because these are pretty much essential when it comes to the formation, the brain formation, and all those things which are getting formed in these first few weeks that you're pregnant. Right? The second trimester, of course, will have some added amount of energy required because you're going to put on some weight. There is going to be movement. There is going to be exercise that you're taking up here, and there is need to gain weight. The third trimester, now whether you like it or no, your body is still going to gain weight. Why? Because the baby says it's my turn to grow. And that's where you also need to continue having adequate nourishment in terms of both the macro and the micro. Okay? So that's how we go ahead from here. So this is how, the stages of pregnancy will go. And it's like, from where you start is where we begin helping you. So supposing you start your pregnancy with an underweight, then we need to, pick up some additional weight in the second trimester. Okay? But if you're already with a overweight when you start your pregnancy, then here is where we'll also see that you don't gain unnecessary weight so that it doesn't become too much weight when you're almost to term. So that's how, around BMI, we'll be able to help you understand how much weight should come in and how your body will keep on changing and how we can keep on pushing additional nutrients at the right time in the right quantity. Fine. So generally you will look around here is now broadly the first trimester there may not be much gain or there may not be much loss either. Some people revolve around the same kilograms. Okay, so this is how it is. But in the second trimester, as I said, you may gain close to around 5 to 6 kgs of weight, and similarly in the third trimester, almost around similar amount of weight comes in. So broadly, you can, in a healthy pregnancy or in a very normal pregnancy where you start with the normal BMI, anything around 11 to 16 kgs gain should be good enough. But supposing if you are in the underweight category, this can be also around 18 to say 18 and a half kgs. Okay. And if you're starting with an overweight category, then maybe even around 8 kgs of total gain in weight should be sufficient. So, there's no need to panic when it comes to checking your weight. I'm sure your doctor is the right person who would be able to also guide you like how your pregnancy is taking shape. Okay. Parallelly, I should be able to help you around planning what kinds of food that should come into your diet, and we can speak at a different end. Maybe you can connect with me, and we can take you through your diet plans as required. And of course, Dr. Nigam has already taken you through the exercise regime. I'm sure you're thoroughly convinced that exercise is but a very important part of your pregnancy journey. Similarly, also food and the right kind of food at the right time in the right quantum is as equally important part of your pregnancy journey. So eating a balanced meal makes huge sense. Now, when I talk of balanced meal, I'm sure a lot of people would have, looked at this kind of a pyramid, various places, any nutrition journal if you pick up, or if you try to search or Google something around food, you may be able to lay your hands on this food pyramid. But this pyramid will keep changing depending on what condition you're trying to Google for. So there are several changes that have come and several good changes that have come. So don't try and rely that one is a particular thing. But this is what I have picked up here is to help you understand what food groups all are about. Okay. So when we consider a food pyramid, the first and the lowermost rung of this food pyramid will have food substances which is going to give you natural amount of carbohydrate load. Okay. And these are going to be energy giving foods. Okay. So when we talk of all these cereals and pulses and grains and food made with all these grains will fall in this run, and they're going to give you a huge amount of energy. So when you consider any meal in a day, just try and, if you broadly also think, just try and understand that every meal possibly may have at least some portion of this cereal base in your routine Indian diets. Okay. So if we consider, say, breakfast, I'm sure a lot of us may choose from your rice to your wheat to your jawar to your bajri, etc. Right? There are foodstuffs which can be made from these items, and there are other products like when you talk of wheat, you have your rava, so you make your upma out of it. You have your broken wheat, you make your dalia out of it. Probably you have your rice and rice products, you have your vermicelli, you have poha, you have your kurmura kind of bhel, etc. that you can make out of it. So there are several food items which all fall into this run, and they will find place in different meals in your day. Fine. But secondly, also when we go to see, that's not all that we can normally only eat. Okay? So your upma or your poha or maybe even your roti paratha, by itself, if you're eating, that may be short of something that you have always eaten it with, right? There will be some amount of vegetable with that, correct? When it's a upma, if you're going to make a little better of your upma, you can use some amount of beans, some peas, some carrots, maybe if you like onions. All of this can go and make a more delicious and a more nutritious upma. Similarly, when you look at your evening snack, I mentioned kurmura. So if you're making some kind of a bhel out of it, if you use religious amount of say vegetable into it, some coriander, some lemon, It just allows you to, experiment with different food items, which becomes naturally more interesting to eat. So that's how it's important to, balance your food the way you like it rather than the way it typically has to be when it comes to pregnancy. Because I've seen, several women may have particular flavor choices at this time. Okay? Some may look at having something more sweet. Some people try to look at more savory. Some people want to eat something very nutty. Some people like to eat something which is very tangy or a little more tikha, spicy. So these are flavors that we try to pick at particular times in a day, or maybe at different durations during your pregnancy. Different weeks in your pregnancy can announce some different cravings. So all of these can be addressed when you wisely plan the same food item in a way that helps and supports your taste buds as well. So when I spoke of this first one, this of course, as I said, will be giving you a huge amount of carbohydrate energies. When you look at the second one, this will be supplementing these because your cereal or say your bhakris or your rotis etc. will definitely require vegetable base to come to that. So all your curries, your vegetable combinations, maybe your stuffed parathas or your attas grated with uh, a kind of vegetable scrapings, etc., can make a methi paratha, a palak paratha, probably a gajar mooli paratha. All of these can be made into a healthier way of substituting food into your daily needs. Parallelly, also when we look at when vegetables come in, they are going to give you good amount of vitamins and minerals. Similarly, also your fruits are going to supplement your body with supplement your diet with adequate minerals and micronutrients. So when we talk of vitamins and minerals, we're also talking of micronutrients, right? So these are going to give your body the natural required items which are crucial for its growth and metabolism. So when I talk of fruits again, most of us try and eat fruits the way they are, or probably we try and juice them. Correct. These are the two best ways of consuming fruits. But we also try to pick up packets like jams, some jellies, some marmalades, some stews, etc. So those are ways we put fruits to a cooked way, and that's the way we consume. But broadly, when I recommend, I generally try to recommend that the natural it is, the better it is for the body because it's going to give you the natural form of nutrients available from the same. When you start cooking a fruit or when you start cooking vegetables, overcooking vegetables, they may lose first thing the color, second thing they may lose the amount or the consistency that is appreciable. Thirdly, of course, it will reduce the total amount of nutrient value that it's going to have. So raw the better. So when I talk of salads, I mean vegetables in the form of salads, that's the best way. If you pick the right quantity, the right type of vegetable, so that it doesn't carry any infection with that. Similarly, when you try to pick up a fruit, try and see that you pick the right type. Don't have something which is already dented or it's getting soft or soggy, because then that will have some amount of putrefaction. Fine. So choosing the right kind of fruits, vegetables is very, very important. The third rung when we go, we're trying to talk about proteins. And I'm sure all of you all know that proteins are going to be very, very important. Why? Because of so much that is happening during pregnancy in your body, right? Your body by itself is changing per se because there's too much of growth that is happening here. The baby is getting developed, which is all protein in nature. Your body is also adding on some amount of blood volume, which is again requiring some amount of protein. So all of these things when put together is going to calculate to close to about 15 to 20 grams of daily day requirement of protein. Right. So from wherever you start, if you're looking at your body, say 50 kgs at starting of your pregnancy, or 55, or say 60 kgs at the starting of your pregnancy, at least around zero point 0.6 to zero point 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram body weight is the required amount of protein. So I'm just giving a broad figure. When I take 60 kgs and if I say zero point 0.8 grams per kilogram body weight, it could be calculating to about 48 grams of protein. Okay. Now, when we try and see that an Indian diet, usually you will have to really struggle to achieve that 48 grams of protein on a daily day basis, provided you are a vegetarian. But of course, non-vegetarian proteins, when they come in, they will be a little better when it comes to calculation of the total amount of protein. So, supposing you're including eggs, you're including chicken, if you're including fish, they will be able to give you a little better value of protein in your diet. But when it is vegetarian diets, what we resort to as proteins is going to be your pulses, your dals, the combination of cereal and pulse items, milk and milk products. So all of these items which I'm showing here on the third rung are going to be part of your diet, broadly well placed in the entire day such that you're able to consume them without difficulty. And the lastly, when I look at this top rung, it's basically also trying to say that these are essential items to make your food and make it palatable. Okay? Don't try and think that pregnancy is something like a disease or a disorder, right? Pregnancy is what we have invited. We're trying to live it fully and we're wanting to enjoy every bit of it. So it should not be considered that you are having some kind of a difficulty. So don't try and make your diets appear sick. Okay? It has to be really interesting. It has to be more colorful. It has to be tasty. It has to be palatable to be able to enjoy it, isn't it? So be sure that all the food that you make has some amount of flavor, some amount of spice, and see to it that what you can manage to digest is the way you make it. Okay? Anything in excess is going to be harmful. Why? Because several times if you start eating too much of fat early, there's a good chance you may put on too many kilograms before your second trimester gets over. And then there is no go because the third trimester automatically is going to add some more weight. Right? So you may become an over or you may gain too many kilograms during your pregnancy. The risk also remains wherein if you're consuming too much of say sugar based products earlier, there could be chances that you may somewhere land up into some gestational sugar issues when you go into your seventh month or so. So some moderation needs to be practiced, but that doesn't mean the food has to be not palatable. The food has to be really tasty, well planned, well understood, and something which interests the eating procedure, right? So that's why you need some guidance, and you need, of course, the guidance from your gynecologist. I'm sure he is available all the time, he or she is available all the time, such that you can ask your questions, your queries at any point of time. You need a nutritionist or a dietitian support like me, which will enable you to be sure of what you're eating, when and how, and what kind of portion sizes. You need a physiotherapist, of course, to guide you around the exercises, the type of exercises, the intensity of exercise that is okay to do during pregnancy. And of course, you need somebody who can help you to calm down. Okay? All of these things should not make you work up, right? It's important to maintain your cool so that you're able to do the other things in the best possible way. You need all these four of the things, and you also need a present you yourself, because when you want to do all of this, if you are happy and if you are happening and you're trying to do or think around it, you may be able to possibly do it well, right? So generally, when we look at some benefits when it comes to having the right nutrition care during pregnancy, what it does is it ensures that you will have adequate weight gain per trimester. You'll also see that there's adequate birth weight for the baby when the baby is born. So the third trimester actually is going to take care of when how much weight the baby is going to add on. Okay? Also, it will help you to meet the overall nutrition demands both for you and your baby. And it's, as I already mentioned, it's like going to prevent any kind of pregnancy complications that may arise. GDM is the gestational diabetes, the sugar that presents only during pregnancy. The PIH basically is the pregnancy induced hypertension. So imagine eating too much of savory, too much of sauces, ketchup, all of those foods besides normally excess salt in your food can sometimes cause some kind of harm here, some kind of swelling that can arise during your third trimester. Maybe all those signs and symptoms, if you're able to track, you will be able to assure yourself not getting into this PI. Also, trying to check your blood ranges for hemoglobin will allow us to know how much of iron supplementation is required, because I'm sure from your second trimester, doctor generally gives you one particular supplementation both for your iron and calcium. Your folic acid does continue through your term most of the time, and also beyond your delivery time. Also, we recommend that your iron and calcium be continued till as long as you're breastfeeding your baby. Right. So these are a couple of things which, when you're understood by now, you will allow your body to not, drop your hemoglobin levels, right? Also will save yourself from any kind of intrauterine growth retardation, yani any slow growth of the baby during your term because of nutrient deficiency. Fine. So we'll basically try and reduce any kind of risks that could happen because of poor nutrition when it comes to pregnancy durations. Right. And of course, I want all our moms who join me today to be very, very happy and confident about managing their pregnancy throughout term with a beautiful, happy feeling, and be sure that you're going to deliver healthy babies. So that's why we have kind of arranged this session for you so that you learn and you become confident parallel. General focus that is going to be basically around having natural foods. So natural meaning something which is less cooked, less processed, or maybe not in cans, not in packages, something which you buy from the market and cook it in your kitchen. That will help you to retain the best natural form of whatever you're going to be eating. Second thing is, of course, when we start saying "Ki eat well, a lot of people come with the thought that eat well means eating for two, or eating for me and eating for my baby, isn't it? There have been people who have asked me, madam, double khana padega kya? So that's not how it is. Can your stomach really fit in two meals at the same time? It's going to be impossible, correct? So what you're going to eat is eat in a balanced portion which your body can retain and utilize both. Okay. Also important is when I say eat well, we have to remember that we have to hydrate our body also well. Okay. When I talk of fluid balance, that means I'm trying to remind you that your body needs adequate hydration as well. Okay. And your hydration can come from various things. It can come from fruit and fruit juices, some coconut water, extra, and regular water per se. Third important thing is, since there is so much of change and so much of development and growth that happens during pregnancy in your body, it has to be supplemented with adequate protein, which I mentioned earlier, anything around 15 to 20 grams of additional protein per day. Right? So that's where we need to focus on how we calculate and what are the foods we include in our daily day diet. Okay? And of course, the energy to do work. This happens, like supposing if I'm 60 kgs at the time I conceive, okay, and then I become 65 kgs when I'm say in the fourth month or the fifth month, and I'm becoming 67 kgs by the time I'm in my sixth month, completing my sixth month. So I am adding weight, right? Over this period of 6 months, I have added some weight to my body. Now, this added weight also I am carrying through further, and I'm still doing all the activities that I'm doing with this added weight. Correct? So my energy also has to be divided in such a way that I don't feel tired of doing the same activities with this added weight. Now coming to the third trimester, you will add on some more weight. Now remember that if you don't split your energy throughout your day, there would be times that very early evening you may start feeling extremely tired because your energy is not well distributed. So eventually you'll have to split your meals in such a way that you eat smaller meals, smaller, denser meals, so that you have more energy throughout the day and you are able to, be joyous and be healthy and active up through the end of the day. So that's how your day's meal plan has to be. For pregnant time, when I talk of micronutrients, these are all the food items and these are all the micronutrients which are going to be very, very crucial and they have to be a part of your meal. Okay? So important when I talk about is the complex and fiber all coming from your fruits, vegetables and or grains and pulses. Okay? You have a folic acid also coming from your grains and pulses and also some amount of vegetables, the leafy ones, etc. The omega 3, which helps in brain development and which helps in very many processes when it comes to early development during pregnancy, come from your nuts, dry fruits, maybe some oil seeds where we're talking of zinc and some other magnesium, other sources, some iron also coming from these. So, all of these, when you put combined and you chart out a meal plan, you will be able to realize how well they can be placed in your meals and how you can just not forget eating any right item in your meal. Okay. There's a need of having adequate vitamin C. Of course, our gooseberries are potently and very, very rich sources of vitamin C. So are also some other vegetables from or some fruits from your citrus varieties, which can be a part of adding the vitamin C in your meals. Now, also the fact is that you need a lot of iron. There is going to be supplementation, but iron can also be coming from food. So you have your leafy vegetables, You have some amount of grains which will give you iron. And when you start using your vitamin C along with the iron, you will see that the absorption factor gets much better. So it shouldn't be that you are consuming the right quantities, but your body is not able to absorb the same. So there are these few combinations when they are put right, they will help in better absorption of whatever you are consuming. Right? When I talk of healthy or hydrating drinks, of course, you can choose from these very many pictures that I have tried to, check and put here, so it becomes easy to adapt and adopt as well. You can use, thick shakes if you feel hungry and you want to hydrate. Okay, you can use something which is just a very light drink, like normal nimbu pani or just a normal nariyal pani, in case you want to just quench yourself. You can use buttermilk or lassi. You can use vegetable juices. You can use a combination of vegetable juices. You can try and also have your very special pani puri ka pani. It's very tasty, very yummy, and it just gives you that bent of the khatta meetha taste that you were actually craving when it comes to pregnancy time. You can have some kind of mixed juices with your lime, or you can also have as we call it infused waters, wherein you have flavored waters using your lime or your fruit of choice, and that water can be sipped around through the day. And of course, nothing better than any which way is regular water. Okay, so all of these can help and come in the way of helping you to hydrate yourself better at different timings during the day. Again, when I was talking of protein options, these are the items that you can look at protein options. You have your cereal pulse items which will fall from your idli, dosa, your dokla, your dal rice, your khichdi, the poran poli, even some cereal pulse combination kanjis. If you can make it in water, make it in buttermilk, make it in milk, the way you like it. All of these basically will give you good quality protein. Second, when we go is of course milk and milk products. And there are some of my special moms who come back to me and say, "Ma'am, milk to bilkul piya hi nahi jata." So then we can also, choose from these items. You can have some curd, maybe you have lassi, maybe you use paneer and cheese. Sometimes even ice creams, maybe some shrikhand is okay. But watch, I mean, how much of sugar is coming in with all of these foods, and then probably see that, other foods on that particular day do not carry too much of direct sugar load. Then, when we talk of non-vegetarian entries, egg is a good choice. Chicken, fish are another good choices. I usually don't recommend mutton because it becomes heavy to digest. Right? You can also check when it is nuts and dry fruits as another good source of protein. But again, here the caution is that it cannot be too many nuts together at the same time, because they also come with their own part. They will increase the satiety, and there is a chance that you may not feel hungry for longer hours. So probably you may land up eating less because you consume more amount of nuts, which may be heavy to digest. This is like trying to put it in picture. You have eggs, chicken, you have fish, you have your puran polis here, you have a mix of your dry fruits there, some milk, some dhokla, I mean the steam products which can be made from your cereal pulse combination items. You have your idli. If you're using your pulses as a source of protein as well, try and see that you sprout them. Sprouting basically improves the vitamin C and the B complex values as well. But remember, once you sprout them, don't try and wash them, because these two, vitamin C and B complex, are also water soluble vitamins. You will end up losing those when you wash them after having sprouted them. When we talk of energy giving foods, several people ask, Madam, sandwich खा सकते हैं क्या? So, of course, bread is a source of carbohydrate. Multigrain bread is a better source of other nutrients or other cereals coming into picture. But since I wouldn't say ki bread, bread, bread all the time, try and see that your fillings or your layers between your bread slices are much more nutrient dense. You can use dry fruits, you can use fruits, you can use a combination of what you call as micro greens. You can use regular sandwich fillings. You can also use your paneer or your egg fillings to make the sandwich more nutritious, rather than just having plain bread sizes with basic chutney or basic bread there. Fine. Second main thing that you can also do is, till as long as you don't really start showing your pregnancy, there's a lot of room. Okay, so you can still adapt to eating entire meals like your roti, dal, chawal, sabzi, maybe some soup, some salad, some curd, some buttermilk, all of it which can fit in your stomach at that time. But as pregnancy advances, you will feel that so much quantum you may not be able to eat at one meal. So you start, combining your meals. You make a mixed roti, a mixed cereal, pulse bhakri. You try and, have your base of your vegetables in such a way that there's some protein coming in that. So you make your, rich gravies. Try and see that, you're using your tomato, your onion gravies to make other vegetables. So it becomes a combined meal and it's giving you the value of nourishment that it can give you at that time. Maybe you can try making your dals with vegetables. All of these changes can be very easily accommodated, and you can still, without compromising the nutrition that comes in your meal, you can still eat a very rich and healthier meal. And there are times when you may feel hungry in between your meals when you really don't want to go and make something. Okay, because I I realized when I was pregnant I didn't want to continuously keep making things. So I tried to keep these kind of quick fixes at home, some Mackey's, maybe some Nutri bars if you like, or probably even some fruits which can be quickly blended into a thick shake. So these are foodstuffs which can be had in small portions, which will fill you up and which will take care of the nourishment, nutrition, and the hunger pang that arises at that time. Some supplementation, as I already mentioned, your iron, calcium, folic acid, omega 3 may be necessary if you're not eating the right items in your daily day diet. So please get in touch with your doctors to be able to give you the supplementation in the right dosage. Yeah. These are the food items which of course will give you a good amount of calcium, which includes your Rajgira, the milk and milk products, your leafy vegetables, of course, and your cereal pulse items also. And when it comes to iron, you have your seeds, you have your non-vegetarian sources, you have your leafy greens, you have some dry fruits of origin, and you also can calculate in both of these your nachni. So very our own Indian-based cereal, which we also call as ragi, which is very potent both in calcium and iron. Try and see that if you can make some bhakris of this type from your nachni. Probably you can make it as a kanji, or you can build it up into what do you call as forages. It just helps giving a newer item to your daily day dish, and it enriches both calcium and iron in your. Now, what you should be doing in pregnancy, I'm sure Dr. Nigam has enlightened you already, but I'll just talk about not taking any over-the-counter drugs without your doctor's prescription. Okay? Even if you have, used that particular drug in the past, say, you have cold and you use Coldrin or one of these. If you have headache, you use some Enacin, or probably any of those cough syrup probably you had in the past. Try and see that your doctor is well informed about uh, any kind of difficulty that arises during your pregnancy time. Check with him for the medicine before you just go and buy one. Okay? Second thing is avoid smoking actively and see that you don't, be in places where there's too much of smoke there. It can cause a lot of passive smoking, which is very injurious as much as any active smoking can be. Okay? Try and avoid tasting or drinking any wine or any hard drinks here at this time, because those are all sources of empty calories. They will rob a meal because you're consuming these empty calories. And of course, trying to eat any food which has got too much of spice or too much of heavy gravies, etc., may get difficult to digest. Sometimes it may land up into some acidity or some kind of discomfort. So be wise when you eat foods while you're pregnant. Yeah. These are a couple of associated symptoms which may, associated discomforts which may arise some point of time during your pregnancy. I'm sure some of you may be having one of these or a combination of these during pregnancy. Now, during the class, when we used to actually conduct a class, we used to come up with, people having asked their questions and solve the same. This webinar thing basically is now we're just trying to give you information, and that's how I would just try to take you over how you can manage this if at all they occur to you. Yeah. Some nutrition corrections could be here, if there's too much of nausea, vomiting in early pregnancy. So that could be, as I said, it could be because of the hormones, the changing hormones due to pregnancy. So it will eventually settle in about say 12 to 14 weeks time. So by the time you finish your first trimester, most of the time they are settled. But if it lasts for a longer time, it really compromises your eating and your energy, both. So it's important, like, how you try and tackle that. Try and eat a dry toast very early in bed. Like, when you wake up, just kind of, maybe gargle a little and just have a dry toast. It allows to settle the overnight nausea. Like overnight acidity which is accumulated, probably that is also causing some amount of nausea. And that will settle, and then you probably will be able to eat a better breakfast than otherwise. Or sometimes it's all in the mind, because you've been vomiting for the past 2, 3, 4 days, you may feel that it's going to be there, and you keep on thinking, ab hoga, ab hoga, and it just keeps getting in your mind, and that's why it is all there. Probably, trying to eat or lick on a tangy candy, maybe those orange and red candies that are available, it just gives you a different flavor in your mouth, and that will just take off that thought and feeling of nausea, and then probably it allows you to eat better. Okay? But candy should not be the only choice. You can also try and chew on something like a soft jeera, some mint, which also works for the same purpose. Right? And the core mantra here should be that don't wait till you get hungry, because that will cause more nausea. Right? So try and eat your meals in a fashion that they are well spaced during the day, so that you don't land up getting hungry. So anything around say 2.5 to 3 hours part meals, if you're planning, it just allows you to eat well, because you can eat adequate portions, and you don't feel too extremely full. Neither you're feeling too hungry before or after meals as well. When it is constipation, again, hormones could be one of the reasons, but second reason could be because you're eating less, you may land up eating less fiber. That could be enough reason for you to get constipation. Or secondly, there could also be a reason because you're overall eating less, because you feel you're going to vomit, you drink less. The amount of liquid when you're consuming is lesser than what your body requires to process the food that is consumed. Also, there is a reason for you to get constipated. What happens is, while you eat, what happens once you consume your food, it goes into your stomach, gets digested, it goes further into your intestine for further absorption and then elimination. Right. So when this is happening, there's a lot of water that gets removed while the food is moving through your small intestine before it reaches your large intestine. So there will be, small portions of food which get stuck there before it goes towards your anal area to get defecated. Now, those are all these reasons when it comes to constipation and understanding how it is. So, if you're eating less, there will be small pockets of small foods which are all stuck in different places of the intestine, which has to reach your anal area to get defecated. Correct. So, that requires some peristalsis. That can happen when you start taking warmer liquid. Okay. When you improve your liquid, and you improve the liquid in the way, and you start consuming it warm. So, probably take warm milk, take warm water, take soup, take curries which are hot. So that allows this peristalsis to get better. It will help your constipation to get relief. And that's why a lot of times, when I've recommended hot milk before bedtime, a lot of women have got benefit out of it. Okay? Try and include good fiber based foods. Here you have salads providing you fiber, they give a lot of color to your food. You have good colored vegetables and fruits both here. So that probably also improves the overall value of your fiber in the diet, and that allows you to, have enough substance for defecation. Okay? When it's a heartburn, again, don't wait till the heartburn comes. Try and understand why it is coming. Sometimes the heartburn is because you've eaten wrong. Okay, when you eat very spicy curries, or you eat too much at one meal, or you eat too much of oil at one time, probably that can hurt you, and that may be on that particular day. But if imagine you're recurrently getting any kind of acidity, it is very irritating, right? Because you may have to resort to take medicine to reduce this amount of acidity. We don't want to land up that, right? So here is the time where you should know why it is causing, why this acidity is coming. So either it could be because your overall liquid is poor. So maybe sometimes consuming little water with your meals help, because that will decrease the amount of acid load in your digestive juice, which will improve the acidity. Sometimes it happens that you eat a meal and you eat a little extra in a meal, and you immediately want to recline. Okay? So now that allows the stomach content to again start coming back to your esophagus, which could be a huge reason for a lot of acidity. So here is where, now this generally would happen when you enter your third trimester, when the baby has, already grown a little, and there is little less room for a stomach to expand. And that's where, these things may happen. Like, imagine your baby is going to be just about, say, a palm size by the time it is 6 months. Okay? And it has to become a lap size before it's born, right? So that much more room the baby is going to take in your area of your stomach, right? The uterus is growing, so your stomach, your other organs, visceral organs are all getting lesser space in the abdominal cavity. So here is when when you eat extra, you start feeling discomforted, and all of this can come into back into your esophagus. So try and not allow that to happen. One thing you can do is don't immediately sleep after having food. Try and be in a reclined position, or try and wait for the next hour and a half before you actually want to sleep, right? So that will improve the going down of food once it is in the digestive area. Your stomach vacates and it enters the duodenum, goes further for digestion and absorption, and that's where you may start feeling comforted. So don't overeat at any meal. Try and eat two morsels less than eat two morsels more. And how you can make up is try and eat the next meal at the right time, so you don't get up too hungry and again go into that phase of acidity or nausea. Second thing that you can also do is eat something which is like a cold milk or a fresh lot of cold curd to immediately settle in case there's any nausea, that any acidity that has arisen already, because you can't wait till it settles on its own. Sometimes it becomes too difficult to tolerate those few hours. Instead of continuously resorting to an antacid, it is better to use cold milk mixed with cold water, or maybe a fresh lot of curd, meaning set in the morning, consumed in the afternoon, that kind of fresh curd. It cannot be, over 2 days curd or over 2 nights curd. Fine. These are particular things which if you can observe, I'm sure they'll help you manage your acidity better. Two more things that I want to talk about is, see that usually giddiness normally doesn't occur, but unless you are very quick in your movement, sometimes you may experience this. Like supposing you're lying down and you quickly want to stand up, or probably you're trying to pick up something from the floor and quickly coming up. That may cause this kind of giddiness to happen. Or second time when I have experienced, I used to travel from Mulund to VT for my work. And there are times you don't get a seat to sit in the train. So you're standing in one position for a long duration. Now, if you're not moving, there is a chance that you may start feeling lighter in your head. So try and keep moving. That allows the movement of blood flow from your legs and upwards. The entire circulation is well maintained if you're moving. Trying to make some leg movements, which Dr. Nigam would have explained any which ways. Try and make some flapping movements of the leg, or maybe keep moving a little left right, so that it allows its circulation to be continuously there, and that it allow the side of the head not feeling light. That's one way. Second thing is, try and have graceful movement. Now it's not that you have such a slow movement that everybody around you feel that you're pregnant. It has to be really graceful so that it doesn't hurt you. Yeah. And third thing, when it comes to giddiness, is in case your fluid and your electrolyte balance is incorrect, also you may start feeling giddy. So probably adding some lime juice, or adding a glucon C with water, or maybe an ORS solution, maybe supplementing your daily meals, or once in a day a coconut water here or there, will help you to maintain this good fluid and electrolyte balance. So try considering that also in case you are frequently feeling giddy. Okay? And of course, we should not leave the sleeplessness aside. Early pregnancy sleeplessness is usually considered that you're thinking too much around your pregnancy. So just chill. Okay? All's going to be well with you. We are all there to help you. Your gynecologist is there, your doctor is there, myself, and of course, we have your physiotherapist there. All of us will be able to help you around your pregnancy for any questions you should have. Fine. But if the sleeplessness is coming in the later half of pregnancy, that could be because there is a lot of weight of your uterus falling over a urinary bladder, and which makes you wake up frequently to void your urine in the night time as well. So that breaks your sleep, right? So that's where sometimes you may tend to get sleepless if you can't sleep back once you're woken up. So that in such a case, you may have to reduce the total amount of fluid that you consume post 6 or 7 in the evening, so that you have lesser number of times you have to wake up to void urine. Fine. But otherwise, try and make up the other liquids during the day so that you don't fall short of liquids otherwise which are necessary for the body's utilization. And of course, milk at times has worked as a tranquilizer as well. Sometimes when I drink milk and sleep, I feel that I have slept better. So it has those tryptophan. It's an amino acid in milk which helps to sleep better. It calms your mind. So maybe that can be another choice that you can make in case you're having difficulties to sleep. Yeah. Swelling, of course, Dr. Nigam has spoken about. What you need to understand is swelling can be either because there's more salt in your food, or probably there is inactive time and there is a lot of lingering of legs, etc., which is happening. Probably all of this can get combined to create a lot of swelling in the body, and you may be most often finding it either in your fingers or probably on your toes or your ankles, etc. So you will be able to check whether it is pitting at that point. If it is pitting, then that needs immediate care. You cannot sit over it, right? So try and correct your fluid and electrolyte. Occasionally also, when there is lower protein and lower calcium in your food, you may find swelling, a part and parcel of your pregnancy journey. So try and correct what you're eating and how much of protein and calcium is coming from your food, or supplement this. Fine. And try and rest in a way that helps the swelling to go back. Because if you're keeping your legs more lingering, it may not help. But if you keep your leg a little raised and rest in that position, it will help the backflow of blood, help to decrease the swelling that is in the lower extremity. And by and by, when you look at your journey through pregnancy, see that keep on making modifications as required. Okay? No two pregnancies are the same, and no two babies that are born are going to be the same. So there's nothing like any two ladies will have exactly similar symptoms or similar things that are happening to them, right? So as the pregnancy advances, try and see that you make smaller, denser meals a part of your regular routine. Try and see that you improve adequate or kind of supplement your fluids in such a way that you don't fall short of them at any point of time, and your digestion doesn't get compromised. Try and see that there is any kind of accompanied discomfort. If you should have, probably we need to address it at a separate end, because as I said, every pregnancy is unique, and that's where at Fitterfly, where I function as a pregnancy coach and I actually lead the pregnancy team there. What we do out there is we have a customized food plan. We have an ongoing education around pregnancy development and growth, and we also have you to access to relevant blogs, some chat sessions that happen. We are available at WhatsApp, so we can help you, solve any queries that are there. We'll be able to share you some videos also which are, related to pregnancy, nutrition, and otherwise. So all of these come into this individualized nutrition plan. So at Fitterfly, we have this program which is called PregStar. Okay, we just launched it a few days ago, and the PregStar basically is going to help you, enjoy your pregnancy, learn and utilize what you learned through your term. Maybe if you want to look at these kind of programs, you can of course connect with me at either of the numbers for Fitterfly's pregnancy wellness program, which is PregStar.
When is a parent born? When your world changes in a moment? Nani? Or when the moment is celebrated by all? When you start learning again? Or with a new role? Is it your child's first breath? Or is it just a feeling? Parents are born when they fulfill a responsibility.
Your child's umbilical cord blood can provide protection from 80 life-threatening diseases. Keep it safe with Asia's largest stem cell bank, Cord Life. One chance, one choice.